What is up, side hustlers, entrepreneurs, business builders, and dream makers? Welcome to the Settle Your Side Hustle Podcast, episode 92. It's great to be back in your earbuds once again. It has been a while. So my plan and my agenda for today is to walk you through a little bit of what's happened over the last 9 days. That's how long it's been since we've been able to drop an episode, and share one really valuable marketing tip with you. One big gold nugget. This one little gold nugget, I promise, is going to be worth the price of admission, which is watching the video and joining us today. With that being said, let's dig into it. For those of you who did not recognize it, the steps that I was talking through were the steps to the hero's journey. Technically, it's like 12 or 17 steps, but the steps were the big categorical steps of it. So the hero's journey always starts with a call to adventure, and then when they go, they face challenges, they face tribulations. The climax, or the peak when you're in the deep of the depravity, is known as entering the abyss, and then they're transformed through that, and then they have the atonement and the coming home and returning with what they've learned. So that was the joke, but let me tell you how it's not a joke, because guys, the last 9 days have been wild. The last episode that we made was Monday, a week and a half ago, and I was really on fire that day. I was like manically productive, and I have this list of tasks that I do for the marketing of my business that the goal for every day is that I get through the entire task. Most days I get through somewhere between 50 to 70% of it. And on Monday, the last time that I made an episode for you guys, I got through the entire list twice. I was on fire. I also had several sales calls, had great business connections. Honestly, deals came out of the day. It was a fantastic day, and I told one of my friends, if every day was like today, I would 6x my revenue in a month. And honestly, I was probably right. Unfortunately, every day isn't like Monday. As you are aware, this season over the summer has been one of the toughest seasons of my life, and that's been because deaths in the family, losses. My grandfather died back in July, and then my sister died a month later, and it was very, very difficult time. Tuesday and Wednesday of last week put me into the deepest state of probably genuine depression, possibly, that I've ever been in. And I say this as someone who's spent significant amount of time in therapy for moderate depression. This was probably the worst that it had been for me. And I was not productive on Tuesday or Wednesday of last month. And this is where I would say that I had my challenges and I entered the abyss. It was very hard. And I wasn't able to do virtually anything that I hold myself to. And then this is where something crazy happened. And I'm just sharing with you guys a story right now. I'm just telling you where I've been and why I have not been making episodes the way that I like to. Thursday, I had a call with a business partner, a prospective partner that we've been in conversation for 15 months. And we had this call, and they kind of just gifted me something quite exceptional. This might be in the hero's journey, either the supernatural aid or the revelation, which happens in the abyss. So probably the revelation. And that got me a little excited. And what got me really excited, and what pulled me out of the depressed state, was actually prayer. A very particular prayer where I laid everything out on the line, and I told God exactly how I felt, and I confessed how bitter I was and how frustrated I was, and I confessed all my problems to Him. And one of the amazing things about that is God chooses the people that He names Israel, and Israel means those who wrestle with the Lord. God's chosen people are those who wrestle with Him. And that's what I experienced last week. This is what really pulled me out of the depression, was wrestling with the Lord, taking all of my grievances to Him, addressing it and discussing it openly and honestly and authentically. And then the result of that was the transformation and the returning journey, where I get these connections that were not expected, and I have this supernatural aid that is handed to me. And that's going to be more of the gold nugget that I'm going to share with you guys. So from Thursday on, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, and today, I have been spending that time building something that is going to be exceptional. This is not a new business venture. I don't want you to get confused by that. Don't think that I'm not taking my own advice. I am focused, following one course until success. I'm on the path. This is a marketing channel, and possibly 11 marketing channels. So I've been spending a lot of time building this, and what it's going to take for me is probably the majority of the rest of the week, and then it'll take 3 weeks of getting everything properly instated properly, and then we'll be able to start running it. And so we're going to run this experiment for the rest of the year. We're going to see how it goes, and it's an experiment for me, but for the person who gave it to me, it's been proven. They've done it dozens of times, and it consistently works the same way. And I'll give you a little bit of hint about it because it's so tightly connected to the advice I want to give you today. So the initial marketing channel that I'm discussing, that I'm talking to you about, is fundamentally cold email, but it's the how-tos and the mechanics behind it that make it so exceptional. And once we get this dialed in, it's going to be a game changer. I'm going to be sharing everything along the way with you about the experience, but it's going to be revolutionary for my business, and it might be very revolutionary for my clients. So I'm very excited about it. And here's my advice for you. The one gold nugget that I promised you that I was going to share with you is when it comes to marketing, when it comes to growing your business, when it comes to being successful as an entrepreneur, this is a common, true statement that nobody ever says. I know of one person who I've ever heard say it in the decade that I've been in the space. You might not be doing the wrong things. You might be doing the right things, but you might be doing the wrong volume. And what's often the case is that things that work take a lot more than we expect them to. And therefore, we never put in enough to get the results. And you'll find people who say things like email is dead. And what is the case with those people is that either they're trying to sell you something, whether it's a way of fixing email or an alternative or whatever the thing is that they referenced, right? Or they didn't do enough volume. And so they're playing victim and they're saying it doesn't work because they didn't understand the numbers. And so let me give you an example. I'm going to give you the example with email, but I want you to recognize that this is applicable to most things in business. The numbers are going to be different, but the volume is going to be higher than you think it is. So with cold email, here's the stats. If you do cold email very, very well, if you're very good at it, you can get your open rate to 50%. You can get your open rate on cold email to 50%. You can do that. Your positive response rate, number of positive response, your response rate is going to be higher, but your positive response rate is going to be roughly 1 in 200. 1 in 200 is going to say, yeah, let's talk. Yeah, I'd like to learn more. Yeah, that's interesting. 1 in 200. Okay. Think about that. Your response rate will be high. Your response rate will be like 5%. But your positive response rate of saying, yes, I want to move forward is going to be about 1 in 200. And it's going to take an average. Your numbers will be different if you go through this, but it's going to take an average of 2,500 cold emails. And that's not follow-up emails. That's individual people that you're cold emailing. 2,500 to get one sale. So why is cold email worth it? Well, if you're in B2B like I am and you work in the US, then there's roughly 30 million businesses in the US. So if I were to literally send a cold email to all of them and I follow the process, I will get 12,000 customers. 12,000 customers. And well, if I could possibly manage that and scale that and run that, each one of those customers would be paying me probably an average of let's go in the middle, let's say $3,000 a month. So that means that business would be doing $36 million a month or $432 million a year. So don't tell me cold email doesn't work, because clearly it does. You just need to know your numbers. Most things in business work that way. Most things in business work that way, where the reality is it's just a numbers game. If you're doing the right things, you probably don't know the right volume, and the right volume is a lot. And it's more than you probably expect. That doesn't mean you should stop doing the right thing. That just means you've got to understand the numbers. And an amazing thing about that is you don't need to figure it out for yourself, which somebody did. Somebody was the trailblazer who figured it out themselves and figured out the numbers that make it work, and then replicated it, and then it grew and it got better. But you can just Google it. You can just see and do a little bit of homework and determine what numbers you should expect. Where do you think I got these numbers from? Okay. So that's my encouragement for you. And that's all I have for you today. I'm going to try to be back in your earbuds again tomorrow. I'm going to try to get back on the horse on this one. It's been a journey. First, depression, then just too much work on my plate. But I am committed to this podcast. I love you so much. I'll try to be back in your earbuds once again tomorrow. God bless.